Welcome to the Hoosier Gridiron Report, episode 11 on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com, presented and driven by Tom Wood Nissan. Visit Tom Wood Nissan just east of Keystone off 96th Street, across from Wawa. 0% APR for 60 months on 2025 Nissan Pathfinders and Muranos at Tom Wood Nissan, as well as 1.9% APR for 60 months on 2026 Nissan Rogues and 2025 Frontiers. Visit Tom Wood Nissan on 96th Street or at tomwoodnissan.com. I am your host, Mitch Stevens, excited to bring you episode 11. We have finished the inaugural girls state flag football playoffs about 2 weeks ago now. And the boys playoffs just recently got underway with classes 1 through 4A having the first sectional rounds this past Friday night. Almost all of 5 and 6A had the week off, so a bye week, and start their playoff runs on Halloween weekend. There was an exception there with Whiteland getting a victory in 5A, but 1 through 4A started for playoff time. And tonight we have some special guests in the girls flag football arena here again. So we have 3 girls flag football head coaches. So we have Brenda Adams from Brebeuf, we have Jason Ashley from North Central, and Greg Person from Ben Davis. So all 3 of those coaches will come on to talk about the seasons that their teams just finished up, a little bit of perspective from a couple coaches that have been coaching for several years. And then Coach Adams, her first year with the Brebeuf program anyway. Brebeuf was in its first season doing flag football as a sport in general. So a couple different perspectives that we'll hear from, and our aim to work with the Indianapolis Colts and continue spreading awareness and building excitement around what is just really a cool and emerging sport in girls flag football. Tonight, we will also quickly be recapping Chittard and Mooresville. That's the game that we covered here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com on Friday night. And we'll take a quick look at some other sectional matchups. And then we'll just see when we have these guys joining in the Zoom. We'll get that conversation started with Coach Adams, Person, and Ashley. I'd also like to invite you in general to visit IndianaHighSchoolSports.com all throughout the fall and winter on your weekends for live streams of big games and recaps from around the state. And of course, the live stream and then ultimately recording of this show can be found on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com as well. This site began in 2020. It's continued to grow with 3 broadcasting crews covering Indianapolis and Muncie. So if you can't get enough of Indiana High School Sports, bookmark that site for your Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturday nights in the fall and winter, especially as we start to get into basketball season here. IndianaHighSchoolSports.com. So we have Bishop Chittard and Mooresville is a game that we covered here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com. Chittard has won 17 state championships in their program's storied history. They have never won a state championship. However, at the 4A level, they're ranked number 2 in all of Indiana for 4A, and many think this is their best opportunity to do so. They had some issues, some slip-ups. Maybe they weren't perfect on Friday night, but they looked pretty darn good against Mooresville. And that game ended with the Trojans getting a 48-14 victory at Mooresville for the opening sectional. Running back Danny Adams scored 4 touchdowns for Chittard. He was outstanding. Obviously, they handed the football to him a bunch, but also catching it out of the backfield. He's quick. He's explosive. He even had a play where it ended up being a run of about 8 or 9 yards, and it looked like he was 100% going down to the turf. It was blown dead, but the officials actually missed it. He somehow kept his feet driving, and it should have been another long, potentially touchdown run for Adams, but he did have 4 to his name on Friday night. The game started with Mooresville's quarterback Connor Cruz hitting wide receiver Journey Thompson for about a 12-yard gain. It was a nice in rhythm pitch and catch from Cruz to Thompson. And then he was wrapped up and stripped of the football. It rolled backwards about 15 yards before Chittard recovered. So a tough way for the Pioneers to start. They completed a nice pass, looked like a first down pickup, but a fumble. Chittard recovered. And then a couple plays later, they were already out in front, 7-0. Mooresville was able to answer and to tie the game up. And ultimately, it was 28-14 at the half after Chittard had an opportunity to go up 21 going into the half, and Mooresville's defense came up with a 3rd and inches stop and then a 4th and 2 stop after that play. So there was some momentum for Mooresville going into the locker room. They were down 14. They felt like they got the short end of the stick on a couple of calls from officials. So we thought there was a chance that they could make it a game in the second half. Chittard really put the foot on the gas to start the second half. They marched right down the field and scored, made it 34-14, and really never looked back. And that defense for Rob Doyle's team, for the Trojans, they averaged giving up 17 points a game. It ended at 14, and they were outstanding. So Chittard will get Brebeuf. That is a game that more than likely we will have here on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com. So check it out, 7 p.m. It should be Brebeuf visiting Chittard. I gotta double check that for the second round of sectional. So Halloween night, it will be Trojans and Braves after Brebeuf got an impressive 56-14 victory against Indianapolis Athletics in their first game. So we are about to bring on a couple of coaches here. We have Jason Ashley and Brenda Adams. Coach Person should be joining us as well, but we're going to bring in the other coaches here in just a moment. And one more time, a reminder that tonight's episode is presented and driven by Tom Wood Nissan, 0% APR for 60 months on 2025 Pathfinders and Muranos, 1.9% APR for 60 months on 2026 Nissan Rogues and Frontiers. Visit Tom Wood Nissan on 96th Street or at tomwoodnissan.com. So thank you for joining tonight. I appreciate you making time.
Yes, no problem at all. Sorry about the delay. I was at the Coast game. They honored us today for Coach of the Week downtown at the Coast game, so I'm just leaving there.
No problem. That is awesome. It fits right into what we're talking about today, and just so much support from the Colts for girls flag football in general, right?
Yes, a lot of support. We've been talking about that all weekend long, just how instrumental they've been with the program and getting everything going.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Adams, good
Hi there.
evening. Thank you for joining.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Are you in the same boat as Coach Ashley and being at the Colts game? And
I'm not. No, I was
Okay.
traveling though, so I'm in my car.
Actually, this is not an NFL talk show, but do you have a Packers? Is that a Packers hoodie?
Yes, I'm a Packer fan. Yes, I'm
Okay.
eagerly awaiting the 8 o'clock time.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I can assure you we'll get you out of here well before that.
No
So we're not
problem.
gonna miss
No
any of the
problem.
time. And then we have Coach Person just joining us here as well. Coach Person, thank you for joining the show tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So it's been a lot of fun for us going back so on IndianaHighSchoolSports.com, we did the girls flag football preseason coaches show, and that was really my first introduction to the sport, and just seeing the excitement and the passion from all the coaches. It just made, I know, our entire team excited to start calling these games, and they did not disappoint. So it's been a lot of fun to cover. And a big part of what we're trying to do is, working in tandem with the Colts to spread more awareness of a growing sport. So I'm definitely excited to have you guys on here and talk a little bit about your teams. Coach Adams, I'm going to start here with you. Looking at this season, first year for Brebeuf with flag football as a program. So just talk about what you're most proud of and what you enjoyed most from season number one.
Yeah, sure. And just want to say appreciate you guys for doing everything you can to get us off the ground and promote it. And it's great to have allies in the city and in the state. So thank you. I went into our season with no expectations, zero. I got peer pressured into this a little bit, and that was okay too. I knew I had a great group of girls that were ahead of us, and I was excited for them because they were excited. Um, I had zero idea how they were going to do or what they knew, and that reigned true in our first game against Ben Davis. Funny, our very first two plays, we got illegal motion penalties. Very first two plays on offense. So yeah, that kicked me off pretty well, but I couldn't have been happier and more excited for them, just the way they like embraced it and the way they were so excited to do something fun, and but yeah, they were so serious about it, and they exceeded every part of the expectations I would have ever imagined. So I'm excited to go another year. It ended a little earlier than we wanted it to, but it was still super fun, super exciting.
Yes, you mentioned it ended a little earlier than you wanted to. Overall, 4-3 in the regular season, so a winning record. You lost an extremely close game to finish the season, 12-6 in the sectional to Harrison.
Yep.
So a lot of positives for year one in
So
general
many.
as a
Yep.
program. What would you say is the biggest area for growth for you and for the program going into year two?
Yeah, I mean, I think, just overall football, like mentality things that girls might not know, just like as natural sports that they've ever played before. My dad was a football coach, so I grew up doing this stuff, but like overall things that was funny to us that didn't really click with them, no matter how many times I said it, until it's kind of at the end, like on defense, don't let people go behind you, just things like that, that finally at the end they were kind of like, oh, I finally know what you mean. Oh, really? I only said that 3,000 times, but I'm glad you finally know what I mean now. So I mean, we have growth to do in that area. I was really easy on them this year just because I didn't want to run anybody off and I wanted us all to have a little fun. But next year we need to step it up a little bit and, make sure we're in football shape and make sure that we're getting down to the nitty gritty stuff that maybe we kind of left off a little bit this year just because we were wanting to make sure that it was what everybody wanted it to be, including me, including myself. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Ashley, for you guys next to North Central, a lot of positives from your season too. I'm sure it didn't reach the final result that you wanted. But a note that I made is Lawrence North went the farthest of teams that we followed around this area, right? So they finished state runner up. You guys did get a win against Ellen, 24-22, and you won the first ever MIC title. So talk a little bit about the accomplishments from the season, and I would imagine that there's some confidence in the girls that are coming back that they can play at a really high level.
Yeah, that was really important with us. Winning the MIC, we went undefeated in the MIC, 5-0, and so that was a really big thing from our girls. Just being a new program and starting off fresh, to do that, to run the table against some really good mixed schools, really said a lot. And also, it leads us into the next season where our girls know that we didn't get to the ultimate level we wanted to, but we know that we have the potential to do that. And so this year was definitely a big ego booster, and for them to get harder work going into next year.
In the game that we covered, it was North Central against Coach Person's Ben Davis team.
Oh,
Cassidy, yeah. So Cassidy Daniels was everywhere for your team. You lose her to graduation. So how do you replace somebody like that? But also talk about what her leadership meant to this year's group.
Her leadership meant everything. She was like my little coach. Me and her talk pretty much every day, all day. She'd bring me ideas. I'll bounce ideas off of her. She was very instrumental in what we did. I keep telling her, I say, you sure you don't want to reclass and get you another year in? But no, she was awesome. But the thing about it, she was a great leader. So we have some girls that behind her that will step in and hopefully, take her place. They won't be Cassidy, of course, but they feel like they'll be a good addition to our team going forward, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Person, for your team, and a recurring theme, all three of you guys had really impressive, great seasons in terms of winning records and big wins and being really close to continuing on in the playoffs. So Ben Davis 5-3 overall in the regular season. One of those losses was to eventual state runner-up Lawrence North, and then your team loses by one score, 25-20 to Lafayette Jeff in the playoffs. But winning record overall, what impressed you most about this group of girls?
Just the ability to bounce back and learn this year. We're a returning team, and being a part of the startup of flag football, the competition was a little different than it is now. So this playing against the North Centrals, the LNs, the Rebuffs, and having those games where we have to face adversity and learning what adversity means, especially going into postseason, that's what impressed me the most of these girls. They homed in on it. Yeah, we had some teary-eyed moments, but the next day, it's conversations about what we can do to get better, and that impressed me. The willingness to get better, the willingness to not just take a loss, but learn from a loss. And how do we learn from a loss? Like, we didn't get as far as we wanted to, but we're already having conversations. Next year starts now. They're already preparing for next season on their own in their own group chat, trying to figure out what's next for them. I'm only losing 3 seniors. So I'm retaining pretty much the whole team. So they're already trying to gear up for next season. And that's what's impressed me the most, their buy-in. The buy-in and the love for the sport.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth there. That's where I was going next, is losing only 3 seniors from the team. So yeah, I would imagine that there's already, that strong core group of girls that, there's so many returning players that played meaningful minutes. That's going to be big for you guys next year.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, Coach Adams, you mentioned, so you grew up with your dad as a football coach. You got your Packers gear on. You obviously have followed the sport for a long time.
Yep.
So I think this it can be a good perspective from maybe the fans that are kind of getting into the game that love football and flag football. I don't know what are the some of the differences or why is this game going to be just as enjoyable for me to watch as traditional football? It's like, what would you say to those types of thoughts?
People that said that to me this year, I mean, and I had to learn it myself, obviously, because I was new about it too. But I just told them just come because it's fast enough that you'll not be able to take your eyes away from it. And there's no pausing, slow referee every now and again. But I mean, as fast as that is going is as much as you're going to be able to take in, and I think that's what keeps all of us coming back, and what makes people watch. And I had 10 or 15 parents the first game, and then everybody's like, wow, teachers did a tailgate for us, and I mean, it was a lot of good things. Just watching girls do really fast things, which we kind of learned is probably more fun than watching the regular football. So
Yeah, for sure. That was a takeaway I had, and I likened it to, it's obviously completely different sport, but I love baseball. But with that being said, when they put that pitch clock in and just made the game quicker,
yep.
it's gotten so much better. And the first game that we called, so we call high school football games too, and those are great, but sometimes those games end up going 3 hours and 15 minutes, right?
Yep.
And it's, so for those that don't know, it's a running clock almost the entire game in flag football. So it's two 24-minute halves. The last 2 minutes of each half are your traditional stoppages for incomplete pass, out of bounds, penalties, things like that. But so there is, with that, to your point, Coach Adams, a really good pace to it. And I would imagine it's one of those things that really challenges your girls to be in great physical shape to be able to play that consistently.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I liken, watching North Central was even a better, and Ben Davis, both of you guys, just, us being new, watching you guys and how you prepare your athletes was a good learning, opportunity for all my kids, and we'll just keep watching.
Yeah. Now, Coach Ashley, on the note, I was just thinking of some of the different rules here. Very specific question for you, but how do you deal with only having 2 timeouts at your disposal for an entire game?
I never call a timeout until the end of the game. No matter what happens, we kind of have like a hurry up offense that we just work on, and we just gonna play it all the way through. And like, hey, unless something happens drastically where I have to call a timeout, I won't do it because I feel like my girls are very well conditioned. We started up last spring with conditioning. We ran all summer, conditioned all summer, and I felt like my girls, we can go the whole time with no timeouts, and we were fine with that. And so I felt comfortable and confident that my girls would do that because I think my girls just put in the work. We lost to Lawrence North on that Tuesday in a sectional championship, and we had practice on that Thursday after the sectional championship. We're already back practicing again for next year. So like I feel confident. So timeouts didn't bother me at all. I was fine with that.
Yeah, for sure. And in terms of highlighting some of your girls from this past season, mentioned Cassidy Daniels just being a player that stood out to us. It's probably tough to pick and choose, but if you could, just speak to a couple of the girls that are returning this year that you're excited about, that maybe impressed you in terms of their work ethic and their growth throughout this past season.
Yeah, well, one girl I mentioned real quick that she's not returning, but her name is Brianna Hampton. She was a very good, quiet assassin for us. She'll be going on. She's an excellent kid. We'll definitely miss her. But coming back, we have Haley Howard, who will definitely be one of the best receivers I've seen, in the state. With her breakout speed and her catching, will be awesome. And we have a lot of young girls that's coming along that didn't get a lot of playing time this year, but definitely have the skills to show up for next year with the people we have coming back. So we'll have some different people in different places, and they're well prepared for it. We have a couple girls who have got some scholarship offers already, who are in the junior class, and so we're excited about that. So those are the girls that we're going to lean on and really take this time from now until August to really hone in the quarterback skills, the running back skills, and everything that we didn't have a chance to last year. We're going to take it up a level going into next year.
It's so cool to hear that about the scholarship offers. The 2 weeks ago we had on um, the athletic director James Washington from Believe Circle City, and they were a new program this year as well.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that he was talking about is trying with all of their sports, obviously, to give his girls opportunities if they want to and if they earn it to play in college. And they've already had a couple of the flag football players. I don't know if they officially got offers, but in talks with schools that have programs. So it's very cool to see that, with it being a sport that's been around. This is the third year in Indiana, right?
Yeah, and it's been good just to talk to the coaches with Aaliyah Evans and Imari Jones. They have been a lot of looks from schools reaching out, getting film on them. And we did like a little college combine last week where we did a lot of invited some schools out and also did some videotaping all the girls and sending all those out to all the schools. So we're doing all the leg work to get these girls to that opportunities at the next level.
Yeah, it's very cool. Coach Person, for some of your players, so two that stood out to us from a game that we had were Ruby Wills and Bella Rose Mason. So how excited are you to have those two back for as seniors next year?
Very, very excited. Ruby actually been on the team and a starter since her freshman year. So she has the opportunity to be a part of this program from ground up. She's developed. She's played behind a few other great players, and now she's been shining. And then towards the back end of that season, we started developing her in different roles. We actually started putting her in the DB position. Usually have her in running back or wide receiver, but teaching her some defensive things too. That way she can be a two-way threat. Bella's entering into her third year. We got her sophomore year. Off her first year, she was already wide receiver, free safety. Like she just showed that she had true athleticism, and just to see her come to my classroom during the school day, during her study breaks, Coach, I watched this film. Coach, here goes the breakdown. Here goes how they do their plays. This is how they do this. Like, it's just amazing to have those two type of caliber of athletes, and they're not just athletes, but students to the game. That they're coming to me from a coach's perspective and a higher IQ. So to have them come back at the senior year to help lead this team next year is some exciting stuff.
And that's the type of thing we've heard that so often from coaches talking about how seriously the players take it, and whether it's the off-season conditioning or it's watching film or coming to the coach with ideas like that. It's that one of those things that some people might think when they hear, oh yeah, girls flag football, some schools are starting to get this program. Think of it as kind of like a club, right? That people are doing on the side if they happen to be playing another sport, and it's not, right? It's far beyond that, and it's cool to hear how seriously some of the players take it, and really take ownership of their success there too. Coach Adams, for your team, a lot of key contributions from underclassmen. So you have your starting quarterback, Leah Soloria, as a freshman. You have a freshman receiver that made some nice plays in our game, Emily Cornelius. And we had running back Kennedy Riggins, who's only a sophomore. So talk about those three, their contributions, and what you're impressed with from them this past season.
Yeah, sure. It kind of interesting. I had, nine juniors, 10 freshmen, and one sophomore. Funny enough. Yeah, Leah really, really out just shined as much as she ever probably could have and planned on. She did not want to play quarterback. We did not know who was going to do that, and I had to kind of move her there. And once she got in there, man, she is stoic back there, and does her thing. I couldn't be more proud of her. There was um after, in our second game going forward, I think we only the next three games, no, the next four games we only punted one time in the first half. I mean, she's just she's gonna grow, and she's a basketball player, so she's gonna physically get bigger, and she's just so smart, and I was so proud of her. Kennedy was at 14 touchdowns when I last checked. Um, she is small and mighty. I mean, the only sophomore on our team, came from cross country, runs track. And man, she can flat out fly. Once she gets that ball, it is hard to find her. That is for sure. I'm really proud of her for the changes she made being an athlete, not really, just doing all these things. She's doing all these things, and she really settled in. And I was a little shocked to see her when we had a call out meeting, because I knew of her as a runner, but she's a leader on our team, and watching her is going to be fun. And then other freshmen, yeah, Emily scored a touchdown. She was super excited, on defense. Peyton McKinney and Manuel Oke, that are ferocious defenders, and Journey Anderson, Carmen Chisholm, they're kids that I can't live without. Just standing there, willing to do anything I want them to do. So I don't lose any seniors, so I'm only going to get bigger.
Yeah, yeah. I love it. This happens every time I ask coaches to highlight like certain players. You just end up listing basically the whole roster.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because
Yeah.
you care about the whole team, right? I get that.
Yeah.
So, but we want to highlight individuals too as much as we can for their contributions. I wanted to use a segment here for each of you guys to speak as we kind of wrap up the conversation in the next few minutes on a message to parents, whether it's maybe a parent where their daughter is already in your program right now, and is going to be returning for next year, or if their daughter's in sixth or seventh grade and is going to be in that high school system in the future, of kind of what they can gain from involving themselves in this sport. So Coach Adams, if you wanted to start here with some thoughts for parents.
Sure. I think our parents were just as shocked as I kind of was that this was going a lot better than any of us dreamed. I mean, what a great group of parents. They were there with us every day, every game, offering to help, sending me messages like, "Wow, you guys really kind of know what you're doing. Like, look what's happening." And then they're spreading the word, and we're a private school that gets kids from everywhere. So I was having seventh and eighth graders come to our games, wondering what the heck is going on. Is this something I could be involved in? And the thing I like about it is there's not one certain body type. There's not one certain like person that just fits the mold. We can there. Everybody has their own little niche about how to find a good place in this sport, and it's been super fun to watch. And the younger girls looking at these older girls that are being the freshman quarterback, or this girl that's a swimmer, but she's sitting in the middle linebacker position, just killing it. I think watching them and having the younger kids watch them is doing great things for our middle school kids too.
Awesome. Coach Person, some of your thoughts and maybe what parents could expect their daughter to gain from working with your program.
First, I would like to say thank you to the parents we had this year. They've been nothing but amazing, very supportive from day one. Um, Obviously, I've been around for 3 years, so they've been around for a while now. Just to give them the opportunity to say thank you all for everything you've done for us, and for the parents that we're looking forward to coming up too. This is the time. If you're looking for a sport, if you're looking for opportunity for your young athlete to get involved in something, there's a sport, there's something out there for everyone. I feel like when it comes to academics and schooling, students are more prone to excel when they get involved in something. And we have a sport that's rapidly growing, super fast, with opportunities for post-secondary education with scholarships right here, right now, that's growing fast. So please get involved, find out what we can do now. It's a great sport. It's fun. The girls love it. It only helps them in other sports that they play in other sports. This is the time to get involved now while it's growing from the ground up.
Yeah, well said. It's grown from 8 teams 3 years ago in the whole state of Indiana to 27 in year 2 to 78 in year 3, and I would not be surprised if we hit that 100 plus threshold to make it an officially sanctioned IHSAA sport for next year. Coach Ashley, your thoughts for parents?
I'll just encourage the parents to, continue to support their child, continue to understand that, that it's not just a club, it's not just something to do, that is very serious, and girls are really putting all into it. So I just encourage parents to just continue to support their daughters, encourage them daughters, and hold their daughters accountable about coming to practice, to workouts, stay on top of their grades. And then for future parents, just to see what we're doing. We invited out a bunch of middle school kids. We actually have a middle school program in each of our middle schools now, going forward. I'm at one school, and we got another school have the middle school program going. So we're trying to build a program up through the middle school, because I have quite a few. I've been doing it in the middle school for a couple of years. So a couple of my girls from the middle school are now on the high school team, and so they've been with me for a while. So I think the relationship building between the coach and the player is very, very crucial. That we have that really good relationship. They've been with me for years now, and so they know how to do things. They know my expectations, and so like it becomes really easy to transition once we get into the high school and the seriousness of it.
Yeah, and you guys all touched on this, that we had Coach Donnie Mims from Lawrence North on, and he was talking about with current parents just how important it is that they are reinforcing things that you guys are trying to teach at home, and that they're encouraging them to take this seriously, and just can't emphasize enough how important that is, right?
Right.
Awesome. Well, Coach Adams, Ashley, and Person, thank you so much for making time here tonight to join the podcast, have a conversation on girls flag football. We are at IndianaHighSchoolSports.com very excited to continue following the sport, broadcasting games, and are certainly looking forward to watching each of your 3 programs continue to grow into 2026. So thank you all for the time tonight.
Thanks, Mitch.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
you guys, for being trailblazers.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thank you all.